Paul, the Giants OTAs are officially underway. We've gotten our first look at the 2019 team in full, going offense against defense. And, this team during the offseason really prioritized improving the offensive line.
Yes, they did. They brought in Mike Remmers and also Kevin Zeitler. And Eli Manning knows that better protection up front is a good start for the offense this season.
Feel good about those guys. They work hard and added a few pieces that should work. So I think they'll do their part, do their job very well, and it's a great opportunity for us and for those guys to play well, and I think they will have that opportunity to go out there and do good stuff.
Now, Madeline, we know over the final month and a half of last season, the Giants offense really started to get things going. But now with the extra help up front, it could really be exciting.
And one of those guys, as you mentioned, Kevin Zeitler, says he sees big things from this Giants O-line, but they're ready to put in the work to earn it.
I think we all know the potential's there, but potential doesn't mean much. We have to put the work in each day, to actually get it done. And the only way to see that will be once the games start rolling. If Saquon's running, busting runs every week.
So Zeitler comes over from the Browns after playing for about a decade in this league. He's got experience, and he's certainly got a lot of beef coming with him.
And he's got a lot of excitement, too. He was saying, hey, I am very excited on blocking for this one running back we've got here, Saquon Barkley. We saw some great things from him last season. Can you imagine if that O-line gets him some more gaps?
That'll be a lot of fun to watch.
All right, for Paul Dottino, I'm Madeline Burke from Quest Diagnostics Training Center.
All right, guys, thanks so much. With Alan Hahn and Monica McNutt, we're now joined by Giants offensive lineman Will Hernandez. My hand cannot go over the forearm. Thanks so much for dropping by. Last year, you were a second-round pick, and you start every single game. How'd you do that?
I came in, obviously as a second-round pick, and to me, I've always expected a lot out of myself. I said, you know what, the Giants picked up in the second round. They're expecting a lot out of you. You're expecting a lot out of yourself. I ended up playing the entire season, every snap, and to me, honestly, that wasn't anything special. A lot of people were commenting on it and saying, oh, wow, Will Hernandez played 100% of the snaps and blah, 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 and I was just like, you know what, like, that's just my job. I was just doing my job. The Giants didn't bring me here to play, 25, 50% of the snaps, so in my eyes, I was just, simply doing my job and, doing what I was brought here to do, and yeah.
And watching, preparing for your draft last year, I remember David Gettleman, what he loved most about you, especially on film, was how much you competed. Even though UTEP, your team, wasn't a very competitive team that year, you were in games that were blowouts, and still, fourth quarter, you're giving it all you have, all the way to the end, to zeros, and that's what he loved, and he wants more players like that. But for you, like you said, that seems like that's just who you've been almost your whole life. You're literally a self-made man in this sport and where you are today compared to where you were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's just who I am by nature. I'm a competitor. I take football very seriously. I have fun with it, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like when you step onto that field, you're not stepping on to mess around or to play hard here or there or just take a break. It's all out. It's all out. It's a violent sport, and I take it, I treat it as such, and I believe that's just how everybody should play when you put the helmet on.
Such a business-like approach, Will, but what was the toughest part of bringing that to the next level? You look at it as, this is my job, I'm here to play 100% of the snaps, but it wasn't that simple coming from Conference USA to the league. What was the toughest part?
No, yes, of course. Obviously there was a lot of hurdles and there was a lot of challenges that, I had to overcome coming into this brand new league, from Conference USA, and it was a big jump. One of the biggest jumps I would say was the speed part of it. Everybody's fast, everybody's strong here. The best guy that I played against in college, I pretty much saw him every single week here in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, in college, you could have maybe gotten away with a bad step here or a bad hand there or bad technique there, and we're able to recover. But in this league, you get out of position for even half a second, mm-hmm. and it's done. So that was probably the biggest adjustment that I had to make, was being in the right position as much as I could, and just not getting beat like that.
Now, Alan mentioned some of the struggles. Take us back to your high school years in Las Vegas. Family has a little bit of a rough patch, and you have to actually live in a relative's storage shed. What was that like, and how'd you get through that?
Yeah, so my family was, as I was in high school, was struggling financially. And, you know, it was around the same time where the recession hit in '08. And so, yeah, it hit us pretty hard. And, you know, at the time I was just starting to really get involved with football. And in my case, I was just thinking about, you know, it was getting so bad at home. I was like, you know, football at the time wasn't giving me any sort of income or any way for me to help my family. And, you know, at the time, you know, that's probably shouldn't have been on my mind. My mind should have been on school, but I wanted to help my family out. So I thought about, you know, maybe leaving the game for a little while, getting a job, helping my parents out. And, you know, thankfully it was for these two coaches, Coach Foreman and Coach Jack, that were there at the time. They talked me back into staying with football. They showed me the bigger picture. They helped me think a little bit ahead and for the future. You know, they said at the time I had no information about the way the process worked of a scholarship, and from a scholarship playing in college, and then from college going to the NFL. So I completely didn't know anything about that.
So for you, it was you never even thought like, well, if I'm good at football, maybe it can take me to the NFL and I can get my family out of this situation. That never crossed your mind back then?
Yeah, no, I didn't know any of that. So coaches opened my eyes and helped me see the future, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna stick with football, and then I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna give it all I got because I love the game that much too. I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing what I love. I'm gonna go for it, and then I'm gonna see how far I can get it, and hopefully it can help me and my family out in the future.
As tough of a memory as that must be, and those times were, you think about it, that's probably why you are who you are on the field today and off the field, in the gym, because of that struggle, right? Can you see it that way now?
Exactly. That had a lot to do with it. You know, a lot of people, a lot of guys, especially seasoned vets and guys that, you know, have played in the league before, they always tell guys, you know, figure out your why, figure out what drives you. You know, some guys it's money, some guys it's the love of the game, some guys it's wanting to be the best. So yeah, at the time that was my why. It was my family, and you know that fueled me every day to go out, practice hard, train hard, and then basically everything I did revolved around football.
How about the chemistry now? Last year with Nate Solder, you got a bunch of new guys. Of course, you did a great job blocking for Saquon. What's it going to be like with the running back coming back, the quarterback situation, and many new members on that offensive line?
That definitely helps you get ahead of the game. I feel because we did create that chemistry during the season last year, and it carried over to all these off-season workouts and practices that we've been having throughout OTAs as well. We feel like we're already way ahead of where we were last year. So we picked it right back up where we left off, and we just want to build off of that.
And the right side of that line is completely rebuilt as well. But for you, you've got a guy like Kevin Zeitler, who's been in the league a long time. The guy has been there every game, just like you were your rookie year. Someone to learn from there, already raving about you. And then you mentioned Nate Solder, playing next to a vet like that. And I imagine you might have seen his rings once in a while.
You know, actually, Nate's, you know, the most nicest guy I've ever met. He doesn't flash like that, but we all know exactly, you know, what he has. Zeitler as well, he's a great person to learn from. Awesome guy, and definitely a great player. You know, when I found out that we traded for him, I looked him up. I tried to find out as many things as I could. I watched some film on him, and he's definitely legit. And I'm very excited to be able to learn from him as much as I can.
So I got a fun question, Will.
Yeah.
You've worked very hard. We can see that you have this business-like approach. It's been very successful for you. When you got a check, right? You're now a pro athlete. What was the first thing that you did for your family? Like, was there a gift that you had to get mom or dad? Like, what was the first purchase you made on behalf of your family?
Yeah, so first I took them all out to eat,
Okay.
of course.
Where'd you go? We need the details. Was it delicious?
We went to this buffet.
Okay,
I
buffet.
had to go to the buffet.
All you can eat.
Okay.
All you can eat.
Okay.
They saw
gotta
you
eat.
come and was like, all right, we're closed. Just Will and his family, no one else.
But no, I mean, something that I've always wanted to do for them is buy them a house. And, you know, I wanted to put them in their dream home, you know, somewhere where they felt comfortable, somewhere where they can come back from work or from wherever and be at peace and be comfortable. So the house was definitely
Wow.
at the top of my
Fantastic.
list.
Fantastic. Well,
What
that's
was that?
awesome.
Yeah, that must have
That's
been just
awesome.
an incredible moment. As you see, we have a couple of athletes, former athletes here, and then we have Bill. And you saw earlier, he did
I was
make
a
the
point
catch,
guard.
Yeah,
the
I
one-handed catch.
You like my?
But
No,
take a
that
look
was
here
really-
now.
that was really
we all
fun.
know that
Look at that. Oh.
in the NFL,
Why
you
they
don't
do you
get
like that,
take
Bill?
two, do you? You don't get take two.
I saw the second one, and that's the only one I saw.
There you go.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.